music. Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of our Black College Experience team, Tarik Thomas, here in Baton Rouge, and I have with me the founder of Black College Experience, Keisha Kelly in Atlanta. What's going on, Kels?
It is another day, a weekend to close out. Very excited about everything that happened over the course of the weekend. We had a lot of good stuff that happened to go down. Of course, we want to recap everything, but we're not going to hold it up. We're going to hop straight into it. Now, I know we have the actual draft news that went on, but let's start with some of the stuff that happened as far as apparel deals. Let's go talk about this Prairie View and Adidas deal that they inked. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, of course, everyone knows our previous apparel dealer for the SWAC was Russell Athletic, and Russell Athletics is not going to be doing uniforms anymore. So all the SWAC schools have been, making their own deals individually, and Prairie View made a deal with Adidas. Now, I'm no fashion guru, but I know Adidas has been around for a long time. They make some of the, they make a lot of stylish shoes, a lot of jumpsuits. So, they're going to be making all the apparel for Prairie View. It was announced on Monday that a new multi-year partnership with Portland, Oregon-based company will be the official athletic footwear, apparel, and accessory brand of the Panthers. And my Valley alum, Ashley Robinson, says he's thrilled to officially announce our exciting partnership with Adidas. Since PVMU Vice President and Director of Athletics, Ashley Robinson, since its inception, Adidas has continued to redefine and innovate by ways of listening to the needs of the world's best athletes and helping them become the best they can be. Now, they will be creating apparel for Prairie View. I think it's going to be great. We were all with Russell. Most of us with Russell. Now everybody's negotiating their own deals. Each school, every school isn't going to be with Adidas. I think some schools are going to be with Under Armour. Some schools are going to be with Nike. I think it's going to be awesome that these schools are going to be able to create deals that can provide apparel for their athletes and potentially provide apparel for fans. I think that's going to be a big part of some of these deals. It's providing apparel for the fans, for the students, for people's families. I think that's going to be good for the SWAC going forward, Kels.
I do. I agree. And it's good because you get into another thing. So you look at Nike, and I was trying to do the comparison on it and the difference in, because with Nike, we go by the name, but you made a very good point. Adidas has been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a definite thing. It's a good thing to look into. And I'm very excited to see, what will be displayed, because you have several different things, and some of the other schools went with different options. And, when you have Nike on the table, and I think, Southern would be the next school that we address. And with Southern, we know with Southern University, there's multiple things. So one of the things when you look at with the deal with Southern, with going with Under Armour, I'll give you an example with Nike. Nike was, I'm going to say, just traditional. They wanted to go with the basic thing. Well, let's say just per se, Southern loves to change the colors. We're the color changing school. We're Columbia blue. We're dark blue. Right. We're blue and white. We're blue, white, gold. We have so many combinations as to where you can get like Alabama and then where you get maroon or white. Southern has a variation of colors. So, when you're looking at a simple deal with Nike where they can go with one variation as to where Southern might go 4 or 5 variations, it's just in the best interest to go with another deal where you can actually, because at any given moment, Southern is changing the color depending on where it is. I mean, we see it during the season, homecoming, Bayou Classic, there's a change in uniform. So I think it was just better on that other side. But I'm excited to see the variations and the different deals that each of these schools have in.
Right. And while we are talking about your Jaguars, again, I am surrounded by hungry Jaguars. We have on with us Jaguar football great B.J. Jones. What's going on, B.J.?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
We're doing all right.
Hi, B.J.
We're talking about your new Jag outfits y'all going to have next year. I'm not going to buy none of it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you and Keisha are probably going to enjoy the new look that Under Armour is going to give your Jags. And they're going to also, like Preview, going to provide apparel for the fans, all of the athletics department. You guys are going to be able to buy authentic jerseys. Correction. If they make a Danny Johnson jersey or they make a Tillery jersey, I'm going to buy that. Or Quinn, I'm going to buy that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I get an autograph, you know, frame it in somebody else's house, though. You know.
You can send it to my house. That's fine. I'll frame it in mine and just keep your name and tag and ticket and stuff for it. So when you come back forward.
You do have your Jaguar cave, so I know you're going to be ordering like crazy. BJ, you
Absolutely.
BJ, was Russell, do you remember Russell was your outfitter when you played for Southern? Did Russell make the jerseys then?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you, as a football player, you know, you had to play in practice. What do you think about this deal? Keisha's already said that they're going to make different colors, right, Kels?
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a variation of colors.
Okay. BJ, what do you think about this deal with Under Armour?
I mean, I like the deal. I mean, I think it's big from a branding standpoint. I think you have a little bit more flexibility with the uniforms. We all see what Under Armour has done, whether it's with, you know, Maryland or UCLA they have now, and some of the other schools that they use, Texas Tech. So they add a little, you know, variation to it. We're very traditional when it comes to, you know, to jerseys. So I don't think you'll see anything too crazy. But, you know, just having that flexibility. And the biggest thing is having that gear accessible for the fans and the alumni and the students. Being able to go somewhere and seeing that Southern Under Armour gear is going to be big. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what the uniforms are going to actually look like.
Yes, indeed. That also, you know, and as we get more apparel deals, we'll definitely talk about them as well. I'm gonna have to check. I think I can't remember what who Valley signed with. I think we might have signed with Nike. I can't remember, but I'll check into that. But I think it's gonna be good for the SWAC because one of the chief complaints with the Russell deal was it was hard to get apparel. I mean, it was hard to get officially licensed apparel. And you know, I know at Valley it was hard for us. At Southern, I'm pretty sure, you know, with your fan base, you know, whoever was making the shirts, you know, was making the shirts. But now this is going to come officially from the apparel company. I'm pretty sure it's going to be some new and exciting designs for the Jaguars. And it'll be good. I think these deals are going to be good for the SWAC. I mean, because Russell had this conference-wide partnership. And that's no longer. And now the schools can build their own brands. And Kels, I think I saw something about that on Facebook about building your own brand. So, you know, I know that's one of your key goals. And I think these apparel deals are definitely going to allow our institutions to build their own brands. Last year we talked about how schools in the SEAC rebranded themselves. Schools like, you know, rebranded themselves, creating new logos, and those logos turned out great. I mean, it was awesome. They were beautiful. So now we're gonna get a chance to see this in the SWAC. So, Kels, since we got BJ on, we want to go ahead and dive into the past couple of days of the NFL draft.
Well, we're sorry that you called in at the time right at that, BJ. You're going to have to follow the script, sir. So I was just joking. Yeah, we can go straight into that. That's fine.
All right. So the combination of every football player's career in college ended on Saturday. It started on Thursday, went all the way through Friday, and then it's Saturday evening. It is the 2018 NFL Draft. If you play college football, no matter what level you play on, from the FBS to the FCS, Division II, Division III, NAIA, it doesn't matter. You play football for a chance to potentially play professionally. And last couple of shows ago, we talked about the extended opportunities that college athletes will have to play professionally. But this draft was for the NFL, the National Football League, the league that we all love and hope our HBCU athletes get a chance to play in. We didn't have a whole lot of draft picks in this draft, but the first draft pick that we had, Kels and BJ, came out of the MEAC, and it was a player who turned heads at the combine. He thought about coming out last year after his junior year, but he came back for his senior year and won the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year award again. Led the Senior Bowl in tackles. That's none other than Darius Leonard, linebacker supreme from South Carolina State, who was a second-round pick. Kels, talk to us about what do you think about the pick for the Colts.
Honestly, I like the way we had picked it. I thought that Brandon Parker was going to go first, but it ended up being Darius Leonard. So we had these guys on our list last week, if y'all remember. We knew that they were going to be. And one of the things that, off the cuff, this is just a personal thing for me, because to see HBCU players being drafted in the second round, and he was drafted high.
Yes. Like
35, 36, that's high. That's a really high. Like, you're basically the second day the draft comes on, basically you're coming off the board. And it was, it was one of those. It was a really emotional thing, because even after he was drafted, listening to the analysts, they had a couple of other guys that came out of other schools. I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 picks after that. They kept comparing those guys to a Darius Leonard. And I had to keep looking up at TV thinking, is he still on there? Are they talking? And they were comparing other guys to his style of play, maybe like the body size, the way he does things. But it was really good. And I'm excited for the Colts because, of course, he will be over there with Chester Rogers. So I'm excited for the Colts, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. So it's a party over there now. Yeah, it's a party over there now. Correct. Okay, so I knew I went crazy. I knew, I was like, is it always? But, I mean, and I want y'all feedback on this. The first round is so long because there's so much talking in between, and they do so much. They do so much for that first round of thing, but then the second round kind of breezes by. But I guess we're just rolling to it. But yeah, I knew I wasn't crazy. I was like, did the format change? Because I know it was different in the past. But yeah, right, correct. And then 5th, 6th, and 7th on the last. Correct. Okay, I knew it went crazy.
Well, actually, the old school draft used to be 1 through 4. It was only 2 days. Ooh. It was 1 through 4 on day 1. And then on Sunday, you would have the rest. And the problem was people was complaining that the draft just went on for too long.
It did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because what round was Tom Brady? When he it's just crazy. And look at him now.
Leonard is one of those kids that have been jumping off the board since he got to South Carolina State. He's first team All MEAC as a freshman, and I noticed him a couple of years ago. And a lot of people were concerned about his size at the time because he was only around 210 pounds, and he grew, and he only got better. And you saw his game develop. He went from a kid that was good in space, but wasn't necessarily stout against the run.
Kind of fading out, BJ. What'd you say? BJ? And we kind of lost BJ. But BJ was talking about Darius Leonard, and I've seen this guy play. Saw him play in person. Hopefully BJ will be able to call back. And he is the quintessential linebacker. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can play the run. He can play the pass. At one point, there were talks about him playing safety in the NFL. But he is now secured his spot as an NFL linebacker as a second-round pick of the Indianapolis Colts. And, Kels, I don't know if you seen the Colts play a lot last year. They needed the defensive help. I mean...
And that was evident when they got up there
they
getting
needed
it between them and the Cleveland Browns having every other pick. I literally thought nobody else was picking in this draft. Like it was like pick one, pick. They were bouncing between the two of them, and I'm thinking, were they really that bad? But I guess I had my answer once I seen how many people were picked.
Right, and there's BJ. But go ahead and finish up your analysis of Leonard, BJ.
Yeah, but it was big for him to go in the top 40. And I don't know if people realizing this, but this is the second time in years that South Carolina State has had a player to go in the top 40 in the draft.
Okay. Who was the previous player?
They had a defensive tackle that went to Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember him.
That's something that's big. His name escapes me, and I'm a Steelers fan. Javon Hargrave is his name.
Yeah, Javon Hargrave.
So he's already an all-pro, type guy, already. So that's big for an HBCU, a school to South Carolina State for the second time in 3 years to have two defensive players that go in the top 40.
Right. And like Kels and I were both saying, the Colts definitely need the defensive help because they could not stop anyone last year. So to have a player of Darius Leonard's caliber added to their defense, even as a rookie, he's going to add some much-needed athleticism on that defense to pair with last year's defensive tackle draft pick out of an HBCU Division II Albany State, Grady. Just to see how those two prospects gel together. They already have a brotherhood of coming from the HBCU ranks, and it's good to see HBCU prospects go that high. We also have another caller on the line, my line brother PP. PP, you want to say anything about Darius Leonard's pick?
Yeah, that was a good look, to go that high. I remember Hargrave, going high. I was kind of surprised that they put there. So I think what they're doing as far as South Carolina State, they're kind of like doing what Grambling is doing in the SWAC. If you're consistently putting players on rosters and they're sticking, you're going to be able to pull higher caliber athletes. You know what I'm saying? These high quality athletes, they're going to start looking at South Carolina State. They're showing, hey, it doesn't matter where you go, you can get to the NFL and you can get drafted high from there. So
exactly. Now, this next pick, this guy went to a team that I'm not going to be happy that he's playing for because he's going to be playing against my team for 2 years. beating up on defensive linemen, opening up holes for Raider running backs. None other than North Carolina A&T massive all MEAC tackle Brandon Parker, all 6'8", over 300 pounds of him, was the first pick in the 3rd round of the draft. And, this guy, he is the consummate, offensive lineman. He can play guard, he can play tackle. He did well at the Senior Bowl. The Raiders have a pretty good offensive line, but I think they're going to find a place for Brandon Parker because they already have a pretty good offensive guard, 2 offensive guards. So I think Brandon Parker is going to stick at tackle. It's good to see him. This is selected by the Raiders, of course, and we all know who the head coach of the Raiders is, and that is John Chucky Gruden, back in the NFL after a long hiatus. Kels, what do you think about Brandon Parker's selection by the Raiders?
I think you said what I was thinking. You can do multiple things, and I think that's one of the key things. When you're in the NFL, you can do multiple positions. So I think that's a great thing. Once again, I thought that he would have been chosen. He would have came off the board first. But no doubt, I think it's going to be whatever he does, whenever he comes out, it's going to be a great thing for the Raiders. Now, sorry, that's going to happen over there with your Chiefs. But nevertheless, we're happy for him. And I don't think reality has set in for any of them yet. But this is it's a change. So once they get out there, and the funny thing is, a lot of people that are fans of these teams, the Redskins being one of them, because it seemed like the Redskins just went ham on HBCU this time. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been reaching out like, hey, who is this kid? And we're like, hey, look, we've been trying to tell y'all about these people a long time ago. Y'all don't pay attention to it. Y'all only pay attention to certain teams and certain schools, so of course you won't know. But I think it's a good thing, definitely, for Brandon.
All right. BJ, your analysis?
Big Stuff Parker, what they call him. Athletic guy.
Yeah.
He's big, but he's athletic. You know what I mean? And he's a guy that can play every position on the offensive line. Actually came into A&T a couple of times during his freshman year. He actually played the center position. And that's a lot to trust the freshman with, because the center makes those offensive lineman calls.
Exactly.
So that kind of lets you know what kind of trust they had in him, early years while he was at North Carolina A&T, and I think that he's going to do very well with the Raiders. Be headed to Las Vegas in a couple of years. I think he's going to do very well out there in that black and silver.
Exactly. PP, what do you think about Big Stuff Parker?
Yeah, when I saw him they got drafted him in the 3rd round. The first pick. Going into the week, they was talking about him. What is it? Maybe being a 6th round pick or something like that. Somehow projections were doing it. So for him to go that high, I think that's with Cohen. Yeah, Cohen went 4th round, didn't he?
And Cohen went 3rd round.
Yeah, so that's the second year they done had the second year in a row they done had a mid-level pick. So, yeah.
And speaking of Cohen, he tweeted as his teammate. He tweeted to him he was happy for him, excited for him. The thing is, it's good to see HBCU prospects getting in the league. And I pulled up the Raiders roster here before we move on to the next draft pick. And I just looked at the positions, and I think if Parker comes in and learns the system, everybody's learning a new system. I think he's going to have a chance to potentially start because they don't have another tackle right now. So they're going to sign one as a free agent. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to continue our analysis of the NFL draft picks from HBCU schools. We'll be right back in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, HBCU fans, we're back with Black College Experience, and I was just talking about, Brandon Parker's chances to make an impact on the Raiders this season. And, of course, we all want to see him play. Don't want to ordain him a starter yet, but, just looking at the Raiders roster when it comes to offensive linemen, I mean, he has a good chance to, develop into that starting left tackle. They have a guard tackle on their team right now, and that is, let's see here, Rodney Hudson's the starting center. Vidal Alexander, 2-year NFL player. He's about 6'5", 326. That's about shorter than Parker, but Parker, is a little lighter than him. So, we're going to see what happens with Brandon Parker. I also pulled up the coach roster, and I looked at their linebackers. And with Lennard's versatility to play inside or outside, the Colts have a lot of linebackers on their squad, but they're all young. They're not perennial all pros, which is why I feel Lennard, once he gets in and is able to learn this defensive system, whether he plays inside or outside, I think he's going to definitely provide an impact for the Colts defense. Now, like I said, we only had 3 draft picks. This last one was a shocker. When I saw it, I was like, wow. We did have him on our list of HBCU prospects that could get drafted. He's a talented running back. I think he's a 4-year starter. That is Virginia State's Trent Cannon, who was drafted by the New York Jets in the 6th round, the 204th overall pick. He is a running back / kick returner. And that adds value to the team, because he can play running back and he can play special teams. And we all know that being able to play special teams is important in the NFL, as also being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Kels, talk to us. What do you think about Virginia State's Trent Cannon being selected by the Jets in the 6th round?
I think that the one thing that's important there is the special teams aspect and how important that is in the NFL. And I think that kind of boosts it up. Honestly, I had him on the list, but didn't really see that as coming. More so, I really thought that for these guys that didn't get drafted, earlier on, it's like, okay, well, you'll probably go as an undrafted free agent. But once again, he has two important, very important roles that he can play.
Exactly.
So I think it's a good thing. And I think another thing that played into that is that it wasn't your typical swag MEAC. It's somebody from out of the CIAA. So I think that was also a good thing.
Exactly. BJ?
Man, I like Trent Cannon. I brought his name up last week. I think that one of the things that benefits him is that he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield, and they use him a lot to do that. He returns kicks and punts. But another one's going to be his style of play. The style that he runs up under Reggie Barlow is an NFL-style system. He's not getting a lot of the ball out of the shotgun. Mm-hmm. He's coming downhill, whether it's the single back set or the I formation, and so he's already apt to the NFL blocking schemes and kind of what he needs to do. So that's going to elevate him over a lot of backs who come from the spread, where there's a lot of delay handoff and a lot of zone read.
Yes, indeed. All right, so Trent Cannon, like BJ said, comes from a pro system. Reggie Barlow, we all know who Reggie Barlow is, former NFL wide receiver. He's a SWAC alum. Has built Virginia State into a little mini powerhouse in the CIAA. Cannon received the Offensive Back of the Year honor by the Touchdown Club of Richmond while leading the CIAA in overall rushing yards this season with over 1,300 yards, and he produced 14 touchdowns on the season. He also, has good hands. For his career, he caught 51 passes for 638 yards and 7 TDs for his career on the ground. Rushed for over 4,000 yards, BJ and Kels, and 46 touchdowns. That's a lot of production. And he averaged 32.6 yards a kickoff return with 3 touchdown returns in the last 2 seasons.
I want to say that over the course of time, like within like the last, I think within like his freshman year up until like this, like he kept producing. Like as you're saying, like he kept producing. It's like it went from one thing to the next. Every year, it's like he got a little bit better, which is key. And it's like once you get towards the end and towards draft time, you know, they see the production that you've done.
All right. PP, what do you think about Cannon?
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that he got drafted. I mean, I thought that, you know, if you're looking for somebody, a running back out of HBCU that had that versatility like that, I probably thought it would have been Carter. But for, you know, them to get him, that was like, wow. It kind of shocked me, but, you know, that's a good look for Virginia State and for Barlow. So.
Right. I mean,
ball out.
Right. So, you know, looking at the Jets roster, right now they have 5 running backs. They signed Isaiah Crowell from the Jets. I think they traded for Thomas Rawls. They had 3 other running backs remaining from the previous regime. Bilal Powell, we know about him, been in the league 8 years. Elijah McGuire, a second-year back out of U of L. And Akeem Judd out of Ole Miss. None of these guys really play special teams, you know. They're all mostly power backs. So I think Cannon is going to be able to add to the value. I think he's going to be more like he's not Darryl Sproles' size. He's bigger, but he's going to bring that element to the Jets offense. He's going to definitely help out the Jets quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's also going to be a rookie. You know, if he's able to stick, you know, and find his place on the team, I think he's going to find a niche for himself as a third down back. Special teamer, and you know, if he has to carry the load, I think he will be able to carry the load. You know, I don't want to just limit our HBCU prospects to being third down backs because we want to see them carry the load. We want to see them shine. So I'm going to hope that Trent Cannon is able to, you know, stick with the Jets and find a niche playing running back in New York. We all know New York is a big market, so for him coming from Virginia going up to New York, I think that's going to be awesome. That's all the draft picks that we have had. But we all know that is not the only way to get into the NFL after the NFL draft. After the draft is complete, after that 3 days of grueling, watching, sitting, and waiting for your name to be called is over, your phone starts to ring, and it's agents of teams calling to sign undrafted free agents. And that process is just as frenzied and just as desired as the NFL draft. Some players I've actually heard this before. I never thought I would hear it. Some players actually don't want to be drafted. They would rather sign a free agent deal because they can choose who they want to sign with. They can look at the rosters of the NFL teams and say, okay, I have a higher chance of making a squad if I sign with this team versus this team. Some players like that challenge, you know, of becoming an undrafted free agent. There have been several undrafted free agents that have made it in the NFL, had long careers in the NFL. The first person we're going to talk about as far as undrafted free agent is going to be the Southern University's own Danny Johnson, a player that I'm going to say all 4 of us felt should have been drafted in this 2018 NFL draft, right? Do I have anybody who wants to disagree with me on that? Kels, BJ, PP?
Oh, no disagreement.
All y'all agree that y'all feel Danny should have been drafted, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So we all know Danny's skill set. We've seen him, you know, have an awesome 4-year career playing for the Jaguars. He went undrafted, something that shocked many of us. Not just Southern University fans, but the SWAC in general. He signed a free agent contract with the Washington Redskins. All of us SWAC alums know what historic HBCU figure and SWAC figure star for the Redskins and what that figure does for the Redskins now. I know I'm talking about Doug Williams. And with him being an HBCU legend and a SWAC legend, it's good to see him, give SWAC athletes who should have been drafted a chance to make it in the NFL. Kels, I know you love Danny. That's we got a chance to see him play, up close and personal. You on the sideline. Talk to us about what do you think about Danny's not being drafted and then his signing with the Redskins.
I tell people oftentimes, people see, and it's true, you spend time on the sidelines, you spend time with these kids, and you establish a relationship with these kids. And that's one of the things is over the course of time, I've established a relationship with him. So it's beyond just football. It's a personal thing.
Right.
So even talking to him the day before the draft, and I had this conversation with not only HBCU graduates, but with other guys that were actually, preparing for the draft. And it's the same conversation. Enjoy the moment. This is a moment that you won't get again. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy everything that comes with it, because it's a great experience. And for anybody that's ever been in the draft environment, you'll understand it's overwhelming. It's a great experience, and you wait on that moment for someone to call you or whatever the case might be. Now, first round, I did not expect. I said, okay, that's fine. Day two, okay, give or take. But then yesterday, I was almost certain that the phone call would come.
Exactly.
But even after the phone call did not come, I was like, don't worry. Undrafted free agency is coming. The free agency period is coming. And no sooner than I said that, boom, it happened. And then somebody contacted me and was like, hey, here's the number where Danny is, whatever. But anyway, long story short, I ended up talking to Danny. And he was cool. He tried to play it cool like he wasn't excited. But, we all know, you get to that point. In hindsight, you get this chance. You're going to have helmets. You're going to have pads. This is your chance to prove yourself. You got the same opportunity as well to go out there and prove yourself. And it just reminds me of the conversation, like I said, that I had with Chester when Chester was in the same position. I had just gotten back from the draft. Chester called, hey, I just signed with, the Indianapolis Colts. He had said, all I need is one chance. That's all they need is one chance. You get one chance. You prove yourself. Boom, there it is. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like, we can't treat it like a bad thing. We can't harp on, that, they're not doing this, we're not doing that. With any situation, you take the situation and you build on it, you learn from it. You continue to try to bring exposure and do the great things for it and share their story. Yeah, they didn't sign, but now you got the opportunity. You still have an opportunity to prove yourself and make them look stupid. Right. And, do I think he should have been drafted? Hell yeah, he should have been drafted. But once again, we know how it is once it comes to HBCUs in certain facets.
Exactly. BJ.
Man, I was shocked to see Danny not drafted. He was one of those guys that you couldn't convince me that he wasn't going to get drafted. It's because of different things that Danny does. He's a force in special teams. He's great in man-to-man coverage. He made some spectacular plays on the offensive side of the ball.
Exactly.
He went to the combine. And he prepared. He ran well. He did the drills well. Went to the Senior Bowl. He practiced well there. He played well in the Senior Bowl. So he did everything that you're supposed to do. Every box that you're supposed to check, he checked it. And for whatever reason, he didn't get drafted. But free agency isn't a bad thing. We can look at, Chester Rogers right now with the Indianapolis Colts. We can look at the young man from Alabama A&M that's with the Washington Redskins. There's so many guys, Isaiah Crowell. There's so many guys that come from HBCUs.
You talking about Rainier over with the Redskins.
Yeah. So there's so many guys with HBCUs that weren't drafted. They go the free agency route, and they prove their worth. And the good thing about this, I always tell people this about the draft. You just want to get in the building. All right? That's all you want to do is get in the building. All right? Once you get in the building, you get a chance to show exactly what you can do. You can either prove them right or you can prove that they made a mistake. So the biggest thing is for Danny is that he's in the building, and I have no doubt in my mind what he's going to do with this opportunity.
All right. Well, like Kels, like I text Kels and I was like, "Didn't get drafted?" She was like, "No, not yet." So I went to the draft tracker and I didn't see Danny's name, and it was in the 6th round. And when the 7th round ended, and I didn't see him get drafted, I was like, man, Kels already knows what I'm thinking. I hope my Chiefs sign him. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, he goes to the Redskins. I don't understand why he didn't get drafted because, like what BJ said, he checked every box. I mean, he checked every box. He performed very well. He stuck his nose in there to tackle. And Danny's 5'10", 185 pounds. For a cornerback his size to show a willingness to tackle, that's something a lot of cornerbacks don't have. And then you add in the special teams aspect. Then you add in the aspect that he can play wide receiver. So if you had an emergency, he can go out there and catch the ball for you and win the game. Something that he did for Southern University last year. He has the ability to play cornerback. He has the ability to intercept the ball, knock the ball away. He has the attitude that a cornerback needs to have, and he's also humble off of the field. So him not getting drafted was very shocking to me. I'm glad that he's getting a chance with the Redskins. He's gonna get a chance to play alongside one of the game's greats in Josh Norman. Have a chance to possibly return kicks and be tutored by a good defensive coordinator and just see where he ends up. I also signed by the Redskins were Martez Carter and Norlando Vills out of Alcorn. We all know Martez Carter, Mr. Excitement. PP, what do you think about Martez Carter getting picked up by the Redskins?
I'm trying to see who was their start. Oh, R. Kelly. Yeah, that was their starter last year.
Rod Kelly? Chris Thompson and Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But they also drafted Darius Geis in the 3rd round too, so
yeah, he's going to get a chance. I mean, he's shown, we know he's versatile as far as not only can run it, but can catch it out the backfield and special
return
teams.
kicks.
So, yeah, so he's going to get his shot.
Kels?
Very excited from my understanding. Originally, he was going to the Carolina Panthers. That's from my understanding, but it was a change of pace when Doug gave a phone call. Come to Washington. In my honest opinion, I'm excited because I don't need you over there with the Saints. I don't need you over there causing no problems. So going on outside of Washington. We don't need them problems over there in the NFC South. We don't need that kind of drama. We don't need it. Although it would have been great to have somebody from the SWAC over there. We don't need that kind of drama. Go on over there and do your thing in Washington. Yeah, go do your thing. But I do think it's going to be a hell of a team with both of them on the team from the SWAC. Now y'all are no longer opponents, y'all teammates. And they know what to look for with each other because you play each other every year in Bayou Classic. So you know what to look for. And you know what each person displays. So I think it's very exciting. But once again, I'm glad we didn't need those problems over there in the NFC South.
All right. BJ, your take on Carter?
With Carter, I like Carter. It was difficult for me to get a read on Carter. I kind of felt like he might get a shot at getting drafted, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't as comfortable kind of prognosticating kind of where he would end up as I was with Danny. But I think, Martez, I think that he has a knack for making big plays. That's something that's going to be big. Having that flexibility to be able to return kicks and do some of those things how we kind of talked about with Trenton Cannon, that's going to help him out a lot. I think that, him getting the opportunity, kind of his game maturing, I think that the sky can be the limit for Martez Carter.
All right. And up next, Norlando Vills out of Alcorn. Now, Vills is a speedster. He had over 40 catches and over 700 yards receiving, catching passes from the Alcorn's 2 quarterbacks. he's going to also get a chance with the Redskins, who are going to be breaking in a new quarterback. Also, just to go ahead and speed things along, because we got some other topics we're going to talk about. The other undrafted free agents were Montrell Meander out of Grambling. He signed with the Browns. Trent Scott out of Grambling, who signed with the Chargers. DeLance Turner, the Alcorn great running back, signed with the Ravens. And right now, the only other person I have is Jawill Jenkins out of Bethune-Cookman University. He signed with the Giants. And, of course, we know we're going to, get updates on other undrafted free agents. But before we move on to the next topic, and you guys are welcome to stick around and comment on our next topics, we want to address the real elephant in the room, the person that went undrafted that we've been talking about all day, that is Grambling all-SWAC quarterback Devontae Kincaid, has yet to have signed with an NFL team to try to continue his pro career. In fact, I did find his name on the undrafted free agent list, and it had wide receiver beside his name, not quarterback, and that was a little unsettling for me. But Kels, talk to us about what do you think about Devontae's chances of getting signed in the NFL?
Well, I thought BJ was going to address that,
okay,
but I did. I really wanted BJ to break this down as to why he didn't see it happen.
BJ? BJ, you still there? He's still there, buddy. He must be.
Oh, yeah, I'm still.
Okay, go ahead and talk to us about
Kincaid. I think the thing about Kincaid is this. I think, Kincaid is a great athlete. What he's done at Grambling is you can't talk down about what he did at Grambling. He was a special player. I think that a lot of people had questions about his arm strength, and maybe even question about his size. I think that, we look at the yard. I think as spectators, we look at the yards. As coaches, we look at how did you get the yards.
Mm-hmm.
How many tight windows did you throw into? When you get these yards, is it a scheme where someone was wide open, or do you have to squeeze it in some areas? And to be honest, he didn't have a lot of passes where he had to squeeze into some areas. It was some great schemes, and I think that's something that will scare pro scouts away. They want to see you squeezing in some areas. Even if it gets picked off, they want to see that you got to have the confidence and the arm strength to be able to do it. So I kind of thought that his way out was going to be wide receiver, because I think he's athletic enough to do the job at wide receiver. And I think that he has the type of mentality that, he's going to do whatever that's going to help his team. So, I wasn't shocked to just not see Kincaid drafted. That's not a knock on Kincaid. I think that, when you come in, I think he was listed at 6'1" and 180. But then I think they had him listed at actually like 5'11", 180. That's something that hurt because he wasn't a 6'2", 6'1" guy. So you had all that stuff going on. I think that kind of really made people kind of go in the direction of wide receiver instead of quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully he gets a chance to prove himself, whether it's at quarterback or wide receiver. Dante is a friend of Black College Experience, and hopefully, he'll be able to come on the show and talk to us about his experience and on the past couple of days, and maybe announce where he's going to sign. So, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with more Black College Experience. That is the end of our NFL draft recap. And when we come back, Kels, we're going to talk about some championships across HBCU sports. So we'll be right back with more Black College Experience in 25 seconds.
Are you interested in attending an historically Black college or university? Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm president and founder of the Common Black College application. Our application allows you to apply to any number of 44 historically Black colleges and universities at the same time for only $35. So visit our website at www.commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. Thank you, and get educated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with more Black College Experience. That was some interesting conversation we had with BJ and PP.
was. It very was. And it's always good to get somebody else's perspective from
right. And we're thankful
what
for
they
BJ
think on it, especially when it's when somebody's played in it, and then you just have somebody that just has an honest opinion that has a different analysis and a great analysis, nevertheless, from PP. So it's always great because we do it all the time. So to hear from somebody else, it's always a great thing.
Yes, indeed. All right, so championships in the MEAC. All right, in tennis. South Carolina State wins the men's tennis title. Congrats to South Carolina State Bulldogs. They just winning all around. Had Darius Leonard drafted now. The men win the MEAC championship. South Carolina State defeated Morgan State 4-2 in the battle of the top seeds to claim the 2018 MEAC Conference Men's Tennis Championship on Saturday at the Falk Stevens Tennis Center. The Bulldogs won their 15th overall title and their 9th in the last 11 years. So South Carolina State have been the kings of the MEAC tennis, Kels. Congratulations to Rookie of the Year, Aleska Daslovic, Marcelo Rodriguez. They won their doubles, and Jakub Vitek and Juan Ramirez. Y'all going to have to forgive me for these pronunciations. Also,
these names are,
So, they have a lot of now, here's the thing. This just shows you how diverse our HBCUs are. These are our international students, you know what I'm saying, winning championships in the MEAC. So, congratulations again to South Carolina State for winning the men's tennis championships. And on the women's side, Morgan State. Congratulations to the Morgan State women. They won 4-1 over Northern Division foe Hampton in the championship match of the 2018 MEAC Women's Tennis Championship. The Lady Bears have now won 2 women's titles overall. Morgan State got off to a quick start by taking the doubles points in less than an hour. Once singles play started, Hampton rebounded with a win from Sharice Slocum in the number 4 slot over Dana Santiago, but Oriande Yahubu picked up a 6-4, 6-3 win over number 5 singles Haley Mullins, and Asmara Farouk defeated Anastasia Romanov, and then Danielle Thompson, the MEAC Player of the Year, picked up a 6-3, 6-4 win over Miriam Mislavili at the number 1 spot to give Morgan State the final point and the team's first championship in more than 20 years. Thompson was named to the all-tournament team as the most outstanding performer. That is awesome.
So, just a little tidbit here on Matthew Towns. Matthew Towns was also named Coach of the Year for tennis. And the funny thing is his sister is out here. I talk to his sister all the time, and I did not know that was her brother.
Oh,
she also played tennis.
Well,
and so I'm scrolling. I'm putting this on social media. She was like, "That's my brother," and I look at it. They look just alike, same glasses. I'm like, "Wait a minute." So she played tennis. So I told her, I said, "You already know we're gonna need your interview and your brother's interview because I want to say she might have played for Morgan. She played for Morgan or Hampton as well."
Wow. Well, here's the thing. She's going to have to come on the show, and she's definitely going to have to get Big Brother to be a guest on Black College Experience to talk about this tennis championship. Oh, that's Lil Brother?
He's Lil Brother. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lil Brother. Lil Brother's a champ. All right.
Lil Brother's a champ.
All right. Going down the line, see what other championships we have going on here. In the SEAC, Morehouse wins the men's track title, and the Benedict wins the women's SEAC title. Let's see if I can pull this up here. The Benedict women successfully conquered a field of 11 teams with a score of 219 points as the Morehouse Tigers, or I guess that's a typo there, captured their first championship since the title since 2014-15 with a score of 187. Held at the Hugh Mills Stadium in Albany, Georgia, Benedict's win was helped by senior sprinter Phoebe Johnson, who kept the first 4 place finishes alongside junior sprinter Becky Diaz-Aniso. 4 first place finishes, Kels. Better watch out for her for the Olympics. You know, 4 first-place finishes shows she's dominant.
As you see, in these sports, in different sports, these people become so competitive, so competitive over the course of time. And if one of the things, and I know this is not one, but one of the things I want people to pay very close attention to, pay attention to Bethune-Cookman's softball team. Okay. They have a fire. It's fire going on over there, because I know how you feel about women's sports. Bethune-Cookman, their softball team is on fire. And I've been keeping up with them like through the weeks. Pay attention to their softball team.
Exactly. You know, I'm all about women's sports. So thank you for reminding me of that. So I will check them out. Now, the Morehouse men's track team finished with 10 first place finishes. That's dominance. You know, Albany State finished up second. And, you know, that's just awesome. You know, again, Auburn, and the finish was in the women, Benedict 219, and Morehouse with 187, 20 events. That's just awesome. Let's see here. And Albany State is set to compete in the PGA Minority Championship in the SEAC. You know, they're going to be competing in the that is a championship for collegiates. So they are the SEAC champs in golf. So they're going to be set to play in this tournament. This will make its debut at the PGA Minority Collegiate Championship next month. This championship will be held May 11th through the 13th at the PGA Golf Club in Port St. Lucie, Florida. The 5-person team competition, men's and women's, is open to historically black colleges and universities and other minority-serving institutions as defined by the U.S. Department of Education. So congratulations to the Albany State Golden Rams. And in tennis, Benedict falls to Lynn. That's the Benedict women falls to Lynn in the Division II women's tennis tournament. Benedict College is going to be playing Barry. Don't have an update for that match yet. Also, Shaw women's tennis falls to West Virginia State in the NCAA tournament. And that's all for championship skills. And we're almost running out of time. But there was one thing I wanted to, talk about before I left. Looking for that story now. We have the softball and track and field championships coming up in the SWAC kills. We're going to end the show with that. The SWAC put out the bracket, and it's going to be carried by the SWAC Digital Network. So we'll be able to watch the softball and track and field championships kills on the SWAC Digital Network, which is going to be upcoming soon.
Y'all know my motto. Turn on every TV in the house. Turn on the TV, whether you watch it or not. We need the ratings. Turn on the TV. Support these children. These kids out here, they're putting on for us. We complain about not having anything on the network. Support these kids. Watch it. Turn on the TV. We need the ratings. This is the only way that you get any type of pull to actually get any type of consideration or any type of exposure and any type of TV time. Right. So it's our duty, and I think it's a great. I don't care what the sport is. It's our opportunity to support them.
Right, and the SWAC softball championship will return to the campus of Alabama State in Montgomery for the championship on Saturday, May 12th, with a first pitch set for 2 p.m. In the track and field, the Alabama State women's team will be seeking an unprecedented 9th consecutive championship and 13th overall since the 2002 season. The Lady Hornets have won 6 straight Triple Crown titles. So we're going to hope that they can continue. And next week, being that you just said that, Kills, I wish we had more time. But there was an article I found out, and you're going to love this. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but there was an article that I found, and this is going to be something we can research about the media coverage in HBCUs. On HBCUs, is it providing balanced coverage? In my eyes and in your eyes, we have a lack of coverage, but the importance of balanced coverage for HBCUs, for our arenas, the importance of balanced coverage for sports. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we want to have coverage for, education, coverage for things that happen positive on our campuses, but we also need that coverage for sports, and that's going to be a topic that I'm going to research on, read over this story a little more, and we can have a conversation about that next week on Black College Experience. Kels, do you have anything you want to close us out with?
Yeah, before we go off of that, and I'll just add to that, one of the things that I did get a chance to peek at that, and the one thing that we have to notate is that we can put out articles like that, but we as the journalists, we have to make sure that we're also being consistent. You can't make a post in January and then don't post again to March. And one of the things that I continue to tell people is that when it comes to this HBCU brand, because right now we can all agree the HBCU brand is hot.
Exactly.
It's hot. It's very hot at the moment. And everybody is trying to jump onto the brand because of what they think that it's offering and where they think it's going. But the thing that separates these brands and what people are doing is the fact that you have to tell a story. And we tell a story in everything that we do. When you do your Twitter, you have all of your information. When I do Instagram, we have all information. When we put stuff out, we have all the information. We're not just posting pictures. We're not just trying to get clicks and likes. We're not just trying to get followers. We are really trying to tell a story about this HBCU brand because we really are trying to educate people that do not know about these athletes or about these universities. It is not just about, okay, let me post a picture or post a story. It's really about telling the story for people that do not know. And I can't tell you how many times people will come and say, oh, I did not know until you said that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Or I follow y'all because y'all always say. People are really trusting us to have the information. So it's our job to continue to put out the truth. Otherwise, people are following a fallacy. And then we're falling into the same category as other people that's just out there putting out HBCU stuff because the brand is what? It's hot.
It's hot. Well, we want to thank again.
And that's how we end the show.
We want to thank again my line brother PP and BJ. And you heard Kels. That's a mic drop there. We're out of here.
Good night.
Shutterstock Music.